third graders, happy Monday and good morning. Today we're going to start talking about fact and opinion, and this is something that we're going to be thinking about all week. So before we start talking about fact and opinion, I thought I would just take a minute to tell you why it's so important. So a lot of times when we read books, even if they're information books, the author still has an opinion about their topic. That's something that they think or they believe or they feel about the topic of the book. And they might be trying to convince you to feel the same way about the book. But that's not really always fair if they do it in like a sneaky way. And a lot of people do this online on the internet. So it's really important for you to be able to tell the difference between a fact and an opinion so you can make up your own mind and you won't be convinced by someone just because they pretend like they're telling lots of facts. Now that doesn't mean that opinions are bad. Everybody has opinions. I have lots of opinions, and I know you do too because you used to tell me about them all the time in the classroom. But we just have to make sure that we understand whether something is a fact or something is an opinion. So I made you this chart that's going to help us figure out whether something's a fact or an opinion. A fact can be proven true. That means that you can prove that it's definitely true. A fact cannot be false because it's a fact. An opinion is what someone feels, thinks, or believes. So maybe someone has an opinion that turns out to be true, but maybe their opinion turns out to be false, or maybe you just can't ever know whether it's true or false because some people think one thing and other people think another thing. For example, if I don't like eating meat, that doesn't mean that meat is bad. It just means I don't like it. Maybe you do, maybe you don't, but that's our opinion. It doesn't mean that meat is good or bad. It just means different people feel different ways about it. There are some key words that help you understand whether something is a fact or an opinion. The fact or opinion might not have these keywords, but if you see these keywords, it's usually a pretty good sign. Facts often have dates. Like if in a book it says in 1865, then you know it's probably a fact because it's about to tell you something that happened in 1865. Nonfiction books usually have mostly facts in them, but they might have some opinions too, and we'll talk about that more in a minute. Science. Most science is facts. Now that doesn't mean that some people don't have opinions in science, but usually science books and science, texts about science are usually full of facts. Historical events and numbers. Numbers usually tell you exactly how many there is of something. So if I say, I have 6 crayons, and I do have 6 crayons, that's a fact. That's not an opinion because it's what I really have. Historical events. Those are things that happen in the past. And if you're reading about a historical event in a nonfiction book, it's probably a fact. Opinions. Often you'll have words like believe, feel, think, or sometimes most. Like my example in my presentation today is my cat is the most beautiful cat in the whole world. That's my opinion because other people might think that their cat is the most beautiful cat in the world, and we all can think different things. That's fine. ER or EST words. Remember when we were learning about suffixes and we practiced doing ER and EST words? Well, those usually tell you that it's an opinion. Like if I say that someone is smarter than someone else, that's my opinion. That doesn't mean that they actually are. Or if I say that that my house is the biggest house of all my friends, well, we can't really tell. So that's just my opinion right now. Okay, I have an example for you of a nonfiction book that has some opinions in it so that we can talk about how some books have facts and opinions, and that's fine. Now, this is a book that should be very familiar to you. Remember this book? All right, so I went to the Super Skin page, and it's mostly full of facts, but there's actually 2 opinions on this page. So I'll read it to you and see if you can spot them. Super Skin. Frogs have very special skin. They don't just wear it, they also drink and breathe through it. Frogs don't usually swallow water like we do. Instead, they absorb most of the moisture they need through their skin. They also get water from prey that they eat. Their skin is used to get extra oxygen from the water, in addition to the oxygen that's come into their lungs via their mouth cavity. Because frogs only get oxygen through their skin when it's moist, they need to take good care of it or they might suffocate. Some frogs are slimy. This is because their skin secretes a mucus that stops it from getting dry. Frogs regularly shed their outermost layer of skin cells to keep it healthy. This looks pretty yucky. They start to twist and turn and act like they have the hiccups. They do this to stretch out of their old skin. Finally, they pull their skin off over their head like a sweater, and then, this is gross, they eat it. Ew! And there's the pictures. Did you spot the opinions? I wrote them down here on some Post-its so I can show it to you. Now, the first opinion that I found was actually the very first sentence of the entire page. Frogs have very special skin. You might think this is a fact because of all of the information on the page about their special skin, but take a minute to think about it. The author thinks that frogs have special skin, but I bet frogs don't think they have special skin at all. They just think they have regular skin, and maybe they think humans have weird or special skin. So this is an opinion. I'm going to put it over here by the opinion. The second opinion was at the end of the page. And this is what the author said. This is gross. Now, not everybody thinks that watching frogs take off their skin is gross. Some people think that it's totally normal. So this is an opinion. This is gross. The rest of this page was full of facts. So even nonfiction books can have opinions. That's fine. It just tells us a little bit about what the author thinks about the topic. But we don't have to necessarily agree with the opinions that the author gave. We can take the rest of the facts and make our own opinions. All right, that's it for today, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Keep up the hard work.